commonly mispronounced words that sound completely strange to an English listener. That's today's episode of the show. So let's get started. Hikari, you know what to do.
皆さんこんにちは。毎日少しずつ社交に使える英語の上達を目指すソーシャルイングリッシュポッドキャストへようこそ。今日はぜひもっと自信を持って英会話してみましょう。Are you ready, Percy? Let's go!
Thank you, Hikari, for that great opening for today's show. As always, hey everyone, welcome back to the Social English Podcast. I am your host, Percy, and I am here to help you get better at speaking real, conversational English, real social English every single day. Okay, so I want to do one thing. If this is the first time you've heard our podcast, I want to ask you to subscribe to our podcast because there is a lot you could learn from us that I know will help you out in your journey to getting better at English. If you have already subscribed and you are a listener regularly, thank you for subscribing to our podcast. I really appreciate it. And I will do my best to create the content that will help you get better and achieve your goals at English. Now, today's episode, I hinted at, is commonly mispronounced words. Words that are mispronounced. Pronunciation, how to pronounce. So those are the topics of today. But before we get started, as usual, I want you to think about this time right now that you're spending with me. Is us at a cafe. Can you hear the ambiance, the voices? Can you hear the cafe? Me and you are sitting at a cafe. You have invited me for coffee. And we are sitting down, relaxed and talking about English. You may be drinking your favorite coffee or cappuccino, and I am drinking my favorite coffee, mochaccino, and maybe having a snack. As we are sitting down, relaxing, talking about English, you ask me the question, what is it that makes it difficult for Japanese learners of English to pronounce some words? Today, I just want to give you one example of a word and a sound that I notice many Japanese learners of English making a mistake with. This is a very common mistake for beginners. And the later you are on in your English learning process, you tend to start to lose this problem. That problem is with some words that sound close to the Japanese sound. Now remember, it's okay to be a Japanese learner of English and have your learning come from a listening for sounds close to Japanese language. But in Japanese, phonetic words don't work sometimes in English. What this means, please listen. She, to, to, chi, tsu. These sounds do not work when pronouncing some English words. Today, I'm going to give you one important example. You want to talk about having a person that you are talking to feel comfortable and rest. Maybe it is at your apartment, or maybe you invited them for coffee and you want to let them feel relaxed. So what you want to do is offer them a seat. Now, what you want to say is, have a seat, or please sit down. Okay? So that is what you want to do, is ask them to sit, S-I-T. Please sit, S-I-T. Please sit down. Okay. Now, when Japanese learners of English that are beginners first see the S-I-T for the word sit, they try to substitute the Japanese sound she. She. This is what's called in language learning and language education as the substitution method. This means that the learner or student of English tries to use their own language to produce English sounds. This is very common in the Japanese way of learning English. I teach all of my students and all of the people that I mentor or coach completely differently. But let's talk about this. Let's try to think about the substitution method. You try to substitute katakana to try and sound like English. Sometimes this is okay. Sometimes for a beginner especially, this is okay. But you need to learn the proper way to pronounce words. Here is the example again. Please sit down. Sit down, please. Now, when the beginner of Japanese, Japanese student or Japanese learner of English, when the beginner tries to use the substitution method, this is what it sounds like. Sit down, please. Sit down, please. Please sit down. Please sit down. The correct English, once again, is sit down, please. Sit down, please. Please sit down. Let's practice the differences. Sh, 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 sh. This is wrong. The correct sound. Please listen. Si, si, si. Okay? Please try with me. I will say the sound first. Please repeat. Si. 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 Sit down, please. Sit down, please. Please sit down. Please sit down. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is please focus on that sound. The si sound and not sh or she. Okay? Well, thank you for joining me today in the Social English Podcast. That is going to do it today. This episode is all about pronunciation or pronouncing, how to pronounce a word. I hope you listened through everything. Remember, you can get the transcript and listen and read in Japanese and in English what I said. If you don't understand, go to our website. You can find us at realsocialenglish.com. That's realsocialenglish.com. At realsocialenglish.com, I made a free download for you. It is the 7 mistakes most Japanese learners of English make and how to fix them. You will also find more resources to help you get better at English every day. Subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Pandora. Become a patron. Help the show by donating $3 to $5 US to help out the show. We will show you our appreciation by personally thanking you on a future episode. You will also get new content only available there. Where? At patreon.com/social English. Please share our podcast on your social media with your friends and follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Once again, thank you for joining me today. It was great having you. See you next time. Hikari, take it away.
今日は楽しい時間をありがとうございました。ぜひ私たちのウェブサイト realsocialenglish.com を訪問して日本語訳と役立つ情報を手に入れてください。また次回お会いしましょう。バイバイ。See you next time. Bye bye.